Thank you, counselors, for taking the time to familiarize yourselves with the changes for career and technical education in your schools. My name is Renee Erlandson, and I'm the Health Science Education Specialist for the CTE Division of the Office of Public Instruction. I'm also the Perkins Liaison for approximately 40 school districts across the state and have been actively involved in Perkins 4 and Perkins 5 implementation in Montana. First, I'd like to show you some facts about CTE. As you read through this slide, what statements jump out at you? Is it the $1.5 trillion of student debt or the number of jobs that go unfilled each year? The following video will explain that there is a national focus to rethink CTE and how do we go beyond getting our students to a college diploma and preparing them for the next step as a contributing citizen as they venture forth. This video is a good graphic representation regarding how we think about success for students.
There is a widespread belief that the job market is just waiting for hordes of ambitious, eager young graduates to slide into high-paying jobs in the corner office. They just need to go to college, right? Well, the data tells a different story. Charts like this imply a correlation between higher income and additional education, showing on average that a person with a university degree earns far more money than the average person without a high school diploma. This reliance on averages and perceived higher earnings for having a four-year degree has fueled a college-for-all philosophy, causing educators and parents to encourage going to the university, any university, to major in anything in pursuit of social mobility and financial prosperity. This belief has increased college and university enrollment to an all-time high, resulting in 66% of high school graduates in this country enrolling in higher education right after high school. That's 2 out of 3. The problem isn't that we need more students to attend college. The problem is too many students who enter are not completing. For most college students, it takes too long and they simply lose interest. Others are juggling too much, or they discovered they picked the wrong major or attended the wrong institution for them. Since most students are told a university degree guarantees a higher salary, many delay their career planning until after college graduation, resulting in 62% of students reporting they feel disengaged because they don't see the connection between their coursework and a future career. And so today, only a quarter of those that initially enroll will finish a bachelor's degree. You see, our educational system is very well intentioned, but incredibly misaligned. The pendulum has swung too far towards college preparation at any cost and away from skill attainment. We even encourage a college-going culture as early as elementary school, with university pennants decorating second-grade classrooms, and we spend an exorbitant amount of time in high school getting into college. Education is core to our economy, but in order to guide our educational systems and maximize future income, we must understand this misalignment between education and our workforce. At some point in recent history, we have transitioned from asking the more important question of what knowledge and skills do you need to be employable to contribute to your community, to now simply asking, where are you going to college? When in reality, not every degree is direct preparation for employment. With rising education costs, a shrinking job market, and the oversaturation of some academic majors in the workforce, graduates take positions that do not require the education they have received, and often with debt they cannot afford. In fact, this misalignment between degrees and job skills causes half of university graduates to be underemployed in what are called gray-collar jobs, and 33% of college graduates are still underemployed well into their 30s. We know that success in today's world depends on aligning a student's academics with both their skills and available job opportunities. Yet there is growing evidence of a skills gap in which many Americans are not receiving the essential skills that are needed. Recently, a survey was conducted to find out if the skills found within the local workforce match the skills that employers need in the new economy. We found that employers experience difficulty finding applicants with strong technical skills, as well as problem-solving skills, applied math skills, and basic technical training. Unlike 3 generations ago, having hands-on skills and perfecting what you're good at can be more valuable in today's economy than getting a degree in something simply to get one. In fact, when hiring, business leaders say a candidate's knowledge and applied skills in a specific field are more important factors than where the candidate went to school or their college major. The economy and the world have dramatically changed. In 1960, when taking into account all jobs in the American economy, 20% required a 4-year degree or higher, 20% were technical jobs requiring skilled training, and 60% were classified as unskilled. But what's the right percentage to meet the labor market demand for tomorrow? Georgetown University predicts only 33% of all jobs will require a 4-year degree or more in the future, while the overwhelming majority will be highly skilled jobs requiring professional and technical training at the credential or associate's degree level. The true ratio of jobs in our economy is 1 to 7. For every occupation that requires a master's degree or more, approximately 2 professional jobs require a university degree, and there are over half a dozen jobs requiring a 1-year certificate or 2-year degree. And each of these technicians are in very high-skilled areas that are in great demand. So while most jobs in the future will require some education and training beyond high school, the majority of occupations will not require a bachelor's degree or more. It was the same in 1960, the same in 2000, and will be the same in 2040. Very well intentioned, the recent college for all rhetoric is often misinterpreted as university for all. This message needs to be significantly broadened to a post-high school credential for all. Students at various educational levels have left school without essential skills, setting up our children for failure, costing them and taxpayers millions, all while the labor market is desperate for highly trained, skilled technicians. One of the essential purposes of education should be to help students develop the knowledge and skills needed to search for and obtain work that they find satisfying. Fortunately, today's students no longer need to decide between higher education or career preparation. It's possible and increasingly necessary to achieve both. So how do you position yourself for satisfying in-demand jobs? Let's say you are considering a career as either an electrician or a business manager. You would find that the average annual income for electricians is $53,000, only about half of the $99,000 average wage for management occupations. So at first glance, it looks as if getting a bachelor's degree in business is a no-brainer. But adding skills and ability into the picture adds a whole new dynamic. What if you have the potential to become an excellent electrician, but lack the skills and ability to be an excellent manager? Then you should be looking at projected incomes towards the bottom of the pay scale for managers and towards the top for electricians. You would then discover that electricians near the top of the pay scale make around $90,000, far higher than the income of a manager near the bottom of the pay scale at $44,000. Now, this is just one example, but the concept is true throughout all industries. The claim that you will make more money with an increased amount of education is not necessarily inaccurate, it's just incomplete. That advice is based just on the averages, but no one is perfectly average. Everyone has unique skills, talents, and gifts. Truth is, the income for the top individuals in a wide variety of technical jobs is far higher than the average income for occupations requiring a 4-year degree. Nationally, associate degree earners range between $29,000 and $76,000, while bachelor's recipients earn between $37,000 and $102,000. But this data only accounts for the 25th percentile to the 75th percentile of full-time adult workers. This means 25% of associate degree holders earn more than $76,000 annually, while 25% of bachelor's degree holders earn less than $37,000. Our world has changed, and the university degree is no longer the guaranteed path towards financial success as it was for previous generations. And even if you do earn one, that education alone may not be enough. In today's highly technical, knowledge-based economy, employers want to know what you can do, and what you can do well, not just what degree hangs on your wall. And new and emerging occupations in every industry now require a combination of academic knowledge and technical ability. One without the other is insufficient. We need to ensure we're providing students with all the essential skills required to be competitive upon graduation. So before enrolling in classes or deciding what you're going to do next in your life, step 1 is self-exploration. Take multiple assessments and really analyze your talents and strengths. Step 2 is career exploration. Understand the jobs available, the income ranges they pay, and evaluate both the knowledge and skills they require. After researching all the possibilities, then engage in career planning by setting a flexible career goal based on your personality and abilities and not just your interests. This doesn't have to be what you want to do for the rest of your life. Just set a goal of what you want to do first. Only then can you develop a skills-based education plan, including your tentative career goal with multiple education and training options both inside and outside the classroom. This could include community college, military service, a university, volunteering, registered apprenticeship programs, industry certifications, or gaining work experience. There are multiple paths to success. This is especially true if you're entrepreneurial. 77% of students want to be their own boss, and creating good jobs while rebuilding America's middle class hinges on the success of small businesses and startups. The new secret to success is to create ample opportunities to explore and hone one's skills, and to choose an initial career aligned with who you are. This alignment will help ensure one's position at the top of each pay scale. For the sake of our students, our families, and our country, we can't afford to get this wrong any longer. The time has come to redefine the goal for our students. Is the goal simply graduation or degree attainment? Or is the ultimate goal a relevant education to secure a well-paying career where they are both fulfilled and competitive in today's fierce job market? To ultimately secure a competitive advantage in the new economy, all students need a rigorous general education combined with applied technical skills, industry-recognized certifications, and specific preparation for employment. Will they be ready?
Hopefully the video gave you a different perspective about the need for realigning our education system to fit the needs of our current and future students. Perkins 5 is federal legislation that funds CTE in all states. You can see that the law is asking states to integrate academics and CTE and, where possible, offer students that first step to finding high skill, high wage, or in-demand occupation, either as they exit high school or through some post-secondary coursework or certification. Our state intends to increase rigor through pathways aligned to the workforce, including work-based learning as part of the curriculum, and finding dual enrollment opportunities to help students transition smoothly to post-secondary programs. The federal government has asked each state to use data-driven decision-making when conducting school-wide strategic planning through the new Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment. The main highlights to Perkins 5 are a rigorous pathway aligned to Montana's workforce. So that's all rigorous pathways. We have 16 in the state of Montana, which I'll explain in a minute. Work-based learning, dual enrollment, comprehensive local needs assessment, data-driven decision-making, and continued integration of academics and CTE. Montana leaders created a broad, bold vision for CTE that incorporates academics, career and technical education, and the workforce. It is my hope that we keep this vision in the forefront of our work. It's difficult work, but this isn't a project we can complete in 1 year. Perkins 5 should be a 4-year vision for your community. Montana will implement career and technical education to prepare educated, highly skilled, and motivated individuals through pathway transitions and collaborative partnerships to meet workforce needs. This definition of a program of study reiterates what's in our state vision and what is outlined in the Perkins Law. Let's take a look at this. A program of study means a coordinated, non-duplicative sequence of academic and technical content at the secondary and post-secondary level that incorporates challenging state academic standards, including those adopted by the state under Section 1111B1 of ESSA, addresses both academic and technical knowledge and skills, including employability skills. You're going to find that all foundation courses in CTE, all of our CTE areas, will now have to include employability skills. C is aligned with the needs of industries in the economy of the state, region, tribal community, or local area. Progresses in specificity, beginning with all aspects of an industry or career cluster and leading to more occupation-specific instruction. E has multiple entry and exit points that incorporate credentialing, and F culminates in the attainment of a recognized post-secondary credential. So that whole program of study is really talking about middle school through college. Now we're at the good part. How does all this impact and/or influence what you do as a counselor day to day? Career exploration. In order for a high school student to be able to choose a career pathway, they first need the opportunity to explore careers. This will also happen in the foundation courses of all CTE program areas, but there's more to career exploration than learning simple skills or tool usage. The sooner we introduce students to career options, the more time and opportunity they'll have to understand how their careers, their skills, academic successes, and preferences align with career opportunity. Understand what pathways exist in your school and how those connect to the wider job market. If your school doesn't offer a specific pathway, are there academic courses and digital opportunities to fill that student's needs? We're still battling the old school thought that there are kids that will just need blue-collar skills and another cohort that will move on to college. While that is a simplistic observation, it generally underestimates the value of career and technical education in a student's high school career. How are students from special populations included in this vital work? What techniques do you use to introduce them to new ideas, coax them to explore beyond what they believe they can do? Work-based learning has been a strategy school districts employed and may still employ. The difference for Perkins 5 is that CTE concentrators should be practicing the skills learned in school in the real world. We have a work-based learning manual with more details on the OPI website. And lastly, OPI will be measuring both work-based learning and dual enrollment participation as performance indicators to make sure that we are making progress. So take a look at the ones you see on the screen. If you're not familiar with UScience, you might want to just check out that website. It is free to use, and they have a different kind of performance measure of aptitude that really helps in assessing students. The Montana Career Information System is definitely worth a look. They have a whole section on career lab materials, and they really have aligned this to what's going on in Perkins 5. Some schools are using Naviance or Career Cruising, and these are fee-for-service vendors that are used in some of the larger schools. And then employability skills, also called 21st century skills or soft skills. Those are now going to be embedded in all of our foundational coursework for CTE. While Perkins 5 did allow states to allocate money to middle schools, Montana has not chosen to do so. This is just an aside, our federal allocation cannot support further division of funds. So as you utilize the tools on the previous slide with your students, please emphasize the connection to the regional or state workforce labor market. Students need to understand the relevance of planning their future. That falls right into our 16 Montana career pathways. So these pathways have been vetted both by OPI and OCHE, that's the Office of the Commissioner of Higher Education. And I've laid them out just how they are in different categories. So perhaps you're more comfortable with identifying the pathways by the licensure area, such as business education or family consumer sciences. So now you have a key to what pathways are taught and by whom. OPI has a list of approved pathways posted on our website by school, so you should be able to find these quite easily. The more difficult piece is understanding what courses fit within these pathways. Each pathway is divided into foundation courses equal to 1 credit and higher level or elective courses within a specific discipline. All CTE teachers should be embedding employability skills within their foundation courses in Perkins 5. Understanding employability skills is the most mentioned topic when talking to business and industry partners. OPI will also post a list of occupations that fall within each of these pathway categories. Currently, we have a really interesting labor market dashboard on our OPI website that you can take a look at. I think you'll really enjoy it. So the 16 pathways are agriculture, food, and natural resources, agricultural mechanics, arts, AV and communications, business management, finance, information technology, marketing. For family consumer sciences, or FCS, education also includes early childhood education, hospitality, human services. For health science, all the health professions are covered under this one pathway, and we don't digress until the students get to the collegiate level. For trades and industry, there's design and construction, advanced manufacturing, STEM, which mostly is engineering for CTE, welding and fabrication, and transportation. This is an example of one of our pathway templates. So again, you're going to find all of the pathway templates on our OPI website. This one is for health professions. You may have heard the terms health occupations, health science, or medical preparation used in your school, and the semantics don't matter, as long as the student understands the goals for the program. Each CTE specialist reviews all the course descriptions available for national high school codes. Each school administrator should have a complete list of all these course codes. It may not be possible for specialists to list all course codes within their program area, but these will help you with a great start to getting the feel of the pathway. It should be clear to you, as well as students and parents, why these courses are appropriate for someone interested in health professions. If your school does not offer a pathway in a specific area, or you have only a couple of courses offered, you might look to the Montana Digital Academy to fill out a pathway for each student. Clearly, it is preferable for students to have a hands-on learning experience in CTE areas, but if it's not available, the Montana Digital Academy will have CTE portals for courses that meet pathway approval. Another point for us to discuss here are foundation courses that we consider quote-unquote crossover courses that can be considered a foundation course for more than one pathway. Most freshmen take a computer applications or a career exploration or personal finance course. These may be counted for any of the business-related pathways as well as human services pathway. Computer-aided drafting or entrepreneurship are also examples of courses that may be considered for more than one pathway. The idea of any pathway is to start with broad foundation concepts and then move to more specificity in content in the higher level courses. It is not considered a pathway if the student only has a variety of foundation level coursework. You are now being asked to align your CTE programs with local, regional, and sometimes state labor market needs. Common sense will determine whether the pathways you currently offer are providing students with explicit training to be successful after graduation. I'm going to tell you this dashboard and the labor market website. Again, if you go to the OPI website and then you click on educators and using your mouse, click over to career and technical education, scroll down the page, and there's a whole section for Perkins 5. Be sure to check our website for this information as we keep adding to it daily. Some of you may be participating in your school's advisory committee to develop the school's comprehensive local needs assessment. This is a tool to work on strategic planning for career and technical education. Perkins 5 now requires Perkins eligible entities to disaggregate all student data to truly determine if all students are being served equitably and have access to learning that will result in a sustainable wage. Do you know who your homeless students are? Do you have students that seem to be academically challenged, so you suggest an easier route, such as CTE? How do you help students try new options? Or are parents expecting their students to focus solely on four-year post-secondary options? Let's take a look at this. Comprehensive local needs assessment, and if you're not involved in this, the comprehensive local needs assessment will have to be uploaded into eGrants before we can approve any eGrants for the 2020-2021 year. Can all learners access high-quality CTE programs of study? What do we mean when we use the word access? Are you considering the availability of high-quality CTE programs of study, transportation barriers, wait lists, admissions barriers, etc.? Are certain populations overrepresented or underrepresented in CTE programs of study? Do these trends persist within and across career pathways? Where are the biggest achievement gaps? Perkins defines special populations as individuals with disabilities, individuals from economically disadvantaged families, including low-income youth and adults, individuals preparing for non-traditional fields, single parents, including single pregnant women, out of workforce individuals at the post-secondary level, English learners, homeless individuals described in Section 725 of the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act, youth who are in or have aged out of the foster care system, and youth with a parent who is a member of the armed forces and is on active duty. So OPI now helps schools to disaggregate into all of these different categories. Students of color, ethnicities, or gender preference need to be considered in the broader sense of equity and access as well. And in fact, we would even consider frontier or very rural communities to be in this equity access issue as well. Work-based learning may seem to be an overwhelming task for you. This is the first time in my career that the Department of Labor, the State Chamber of Commerce, and local businesses have been knocking on the door to form partnerships. Some of you are already doing an excellent job of work-based learning, and we will continue to provide resources and best practices throughout the next year. Please keep in mind that workforce alignment, work-based learning, and dual credit courses are strategies based on evidence-based research that will take some time to implement. This does not mean all students will be involved in work-based learning. This should be the next step for students who are concentrators in a specific pathway to use their knowledge and skills in the workforce. The work experience should align with their pathway. Here we're talking about this higher level engagement. We're going to use our national course code definitions to collaborate and count the number of students in work-based learning. There will be approved activities The students will have a number of hours that they'll have to do. Paperwork does need to be considered if you're having memorandums of understanding or memorandums of agreement with your business cohorts. There may be some work-based learning coordinators within your school, or maybe it's the job service that's taking that on. There will be college partner options and community options as well. Dual enrollment. Are you all able to answer the questions posed on the screen? Do you already counsel students on the available dual credit courses at your school or online? Are these random acts of dual enrollment based on what the students like? Or are these courses a continuation of the career pathway the student is interested in? Research shows dual credit courses greatly improve college-going rates for low-income males and gives all students a better glimpse of college-going prior to entering college. We're working with secondary instructors to ensure the dual credit experience closely models a college experience. CTE courses may be taught by your staff members with a bachelor's degree. Almost all academic coursework requires a master's prepared teacher for dual credit. There are a variety of online options as well. Please keep checking the OPI CTE webpage for continuing updates on dual enrollment options. This is going to be an interesting one because some of our colleges are starting earlier than our high schools this year. And so we may have a little bit of an alignment issue to deal with. The Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment. I mentioned earlier that all schools are required to write a local needs assessment. This document will be your local strategic plan. The document itself is lengthy, but we have provided very detailed instructions on how to fill it out. The main template pages will become the basis for your next Perkins eGrant application. If you're one of the people currently writing the eGrant, you know it's lengthy and time-consuming. We want you to spend the time throughout the year working on with your local advisory committees. All of you should have active advisories. This is the time to increase the number of meetings and have your board members participate in the research and strategic planning. Every school has access to their own disaggregated data, and we will be providing data infographics to help you visualize why we need to pay attention to equity and access of CTE for all students. As a counselor, this document might clarify student needs. I so appreciate your time and attention to the changes that Perkins 5 is bringing to your schools, and for your support in assisting each and every student to find their places in the world. I'm a phone call away. If I can assist you with any of these details, please feel free to email me or just make a phone call. Thank you very much.